Hey, welcome everyone back to another session. We only have a few more sessions left. Can you believe the days passed so quickly? But I'd like to introduce my next guest, and that is Emilio with a company called Boundify. And we're going to talk about ROI Driven Advertising with HubSpot Ads Integration. This is going to be our first talk about specifically PPC and integration. And I think we're very excited.
All righty. Hey, Natalie, thank you. Welcome, everybody. Thank you, Natalie, for the opportunity, and me as well. I'm really excited to talk about this. And for those of you just getting in the session, let us just get started. So as Natalie was saying, the name of the session will be ROI Driven Advertising with HubSpot Ads. And before getting into the topic, let me introduce myself. My name is, again, Emilio Garcia, and I happen to be the owner of demand generation agency known as HubSpot Boundify. Boundify, we offer demand generation services, and we specialize in digital advertising. And as you might guess, that's the reason I know very well HubSpot Ads Tool. And that will be the topic for today. I would love to. I know the time is very short, and these sessions, it's hard to maybe explore some ideas deeper. So if you want to connect, I'm mostly active on LinkedIn. That's the URL where you can find me. I'll be happy to follow up on any questions that we cannot cover today for whatever reason. And I also happen to have a small little show, Boundify Live, where we discuss pretty much demand generation, lead generation topics. So if you are interested in those, that will be something if you can join too. I do a session a couple of bi-weekly. That's a couple of times per month. So any of those two areas, I will be excited to have a conversation with you guys. So let us start for our session today. I know the time is limited. I intend to cover 3 key points. Some of the more relevant features that I find for HubSpot Ads Tool, which has evolved over the years, and that I think you might find interest if you have not used it in a long time. And 2 key components what I believe make this integration worth trying and using for HubSpot users. And it will be the ability to create and manage audiences from HubSpot and use them into your ad campaigns. And obviously the always important one, especially when you are dealing with ad spend, measuring and improving your results and your performance. So I think those are the key topics. And again, at the end, if you have any questions that we can answer quickly, I will be delighted to do so. So let's start right away. The first part, HubSpot Ads Tool, key features. It's a very interesting tool because for those of you that have been using HubSpot for a little while, you will remember that most of the tools that HubSpot will offer will be around content mostly, and ways that you can promote it organically. So they started a little later adding integration with tools like Google Ads and Facebook Ads and LinkedIn Ads. And I remember when it started that I was not that impressed with the features. There are some things that I really wanted to do, and that I rely on a lot of extra tools outside to syncing leads and to measure performance and even reporting tools. But nowadays they have come on a long way. And I think there are many features that will make you think to go back to the tool if you haven't do so in a long time. Let me cover some of them. The one that is pretty evident is the ad tracking. And it's not necessarily tracking on analytics. That you can do already on the analytics reports. You can see the source coming from paid search or paid social or any other channel, and you can see the campaign and some details about the keywords even. But the thing that this enable is to match, and we will discuss that a little bit later in detail, to match what contacts are clicking and converting, which is a story hard to tell when you directly to the ad platform. You can say, well, Emilio, I can see clicks, I can see impressions, I can see conversions on my ad platform. Why will I use HubSpot? Well, because unless you have something more sophisticated, it's hard to match those conversions in the case of new contacts to actual people. And so when you integrate the tool, you're allowed to actually discover what person clicked what specific ad, even if you have a campaign with multiple ad groups. So that's very, very interesting. Another feature that I like a lot is what you can do with that information later. For example, yes, knowing the overall numbers of contacts is important, or the deals, but the specific SDR or sales rep that is looking at a new lead or opportunity on the CRM, it will be helpful for them to understand how the contact came to the company. And if you have something beyond the page that they landed on, like a specific ad, imagine, for example, if you have a campaign where you have case studies and you want to know what particular case study was the ad that a potential client clicked, you can look at that. So you can tailor the conversation, even a regular reach out based on the interaction that the user had, and you can see that on the history of or the timeline of the contact based on the integration. Obviously, another one that I like a lot is, in general, the reporting is not as powerful as you will get if you go directly to Google, if you go directly to Facebook or directly to LinkedIn. You will have all these native metrics that are hard to replicate on HubSpot. However, you have the benefit if you just want an overall view, right? How much I'm spending on the 3 platforms, an overall idea of the impressions and clicks and similar answers. And you don't want to rely on not super complicated, but more advanced tools like DataBox or something like that, an external third-party reporting tool. You can use this reporting to do some basic numbers. And again, especially important, you can report on what happens after someone clicks, which is really helpful. And the fourth one, another one that I like a lot, is the ability, and I enjoy this greatly, is the ability to drill down in real time, right? You can go to a specific ad platform and then click on a specific campaign, and you drill down to the ad groups, and then you drill down to ads and specific keywords. So all that data exploration you can do real time, which is quite helpful depending on how you are exploring the information. And the last 3, before I go to something more specific, will be another really hard thing to do without the integration, if you want to do natively, is when you have lead generation campaigns. And for those of you that have never heard of them or wonder what they are, is usually on, and I believe now even Google has them too, usually when an ad platform, you can set up a specific type of campaign where there's no landing page. You don't send someone to a website. You just present the offer right away on the ad. And when someone clicks, they fill their information based on the data the platform already have. Imagine if it's Facebook or LinkedIn, they already have your name, your email address, maybe your phone number. So it's very convenient, especially on mobile, because that way there are less fields that your potential lead has to fill. And it's very convenient for them. They don't have to move from the platform or from the ad itself to the browser, which saves times and reduce friction. So all those things are great. But the only challenge with those types of campaigns that usually Facebook and LinkedIn natively, they just store the information on a little spreadsheet. Not even, I will not even call that a formal database. It's just a spreadsheet, if I remember well. And you will have to download that information. And obviously there are some integrations with other systems, but I believe the way HubSpot set it up is really great, because you can match your internal fields on the contact. And so you have that transparency, and it's very straightforward. So I think it's a great way to sync lead gen campaigns if something that you are doing proactively or very frequently. Another key feature and benefit that I found that might drive it to test it will be tracking more than your standard conversion. And so obviously I recommend highly that for any advertising campaign, you set up conversion tracking, and you can set up simple ones like visiting a specific page, or spending some time, or visiting a number of pages. But definitely most marketers, when they're doing advertising, usually they track conversions like forms being filled, right? And you can do that through a page or something like that. But there are other events on HubSpot that technically are leads that are harder to replicate as conversions natively on the ad platform. And some examples that I'm putting here is those pop-up forms where you offer, right after scrolling for a little while on a page, an ebook or a case study or something like that. Those contexts can be tracked or matched to a specific campaign. Chat conversation that you might start, for most of the cases, can be tracked. So if you start a chat conversation and there's the analytics behind, then can be assigned or attributed to the right campaign. And even meeting links, right? If you're using the meeting link from HubSpot, then you will be able, for those meetings that create a new contact, to start that attribution. So another thing that is obviously important to explore. And finally, attribution, which is probably the highest or the largest benefit of the integration. You will be able to make attribution or discover attribution in two levels. At contact level, meaning you will be able to attribute to a specific contact and any progress that they make on the life cycle stages, and also on obviously the deal, and also on the revenue that you are bringing to the company if you are managing the CRM, the sales process in the CRM, or if you're integrating with another tool. So that's also really, really cool there. Now, I want to spend some quick time explaining a little bit how you can take advantage of audiences and what I like about them the most. So this will apply for Google Ads, it will apply for Facebook ads, and for LinkedIn ads, for the three of them, to different levels. And so let me share with you here some ideas and options. So the idea here is, once you make the integration, you will be able to use the tracking that HubSpot is already doing on your website visitors, and you can use that information to create a special audiences. So this will be your regular remarketing, right? You can do it natively on the tool itself too. And to be honest, in some cases, rely more on the native tool because it has more options for creating specific audiences. But for someone that is just starting, it's quite easy, because you just make the connection and integrate the pixel, so you don't have to deal with the platform itself. And then you have these, pretty advanced options available natively on HubSpot. So you can filter to specific pages, for example. If you don't want to retarget all website visitors, but just the people visiting some specific landing pages or some case studies, then you can create a smaller audience that you want to target specifically. You can create filters, and obviously, because you don't want to target someone eternally, you can do by time frame, right? It's 14 days, last 90 days. There are different rules depending on the platform, and you can explore that on the on the knowledge base. But that's something obviously I invite you to explore. The next level, which I think, again, this is one thing that you can do natively, but is cumbersome when you don't use the integration, is to sync contacts. And usually when you do that natively, you have to download a list that is going to be static, and then you upload it to the platform and wait for the ad platform to match the information of the contacts. So that takes time, is prone to errors. And if for whatever reason the list changes, imagine, for example, that you uploaded a list of lost opportunities or current clients, which will be changing on time, then you will have to re-upload the information to the lead or ad contacts, which in reality is very complicated or it takes a long time. So with this integration, you can create your dynamic list using HubSpot, the ones that you use for email marketing, and then you just match them to once you create on HubSpot and sync them, you can just go natively to your ad platform and start working with them on specific ads, and they will be dynamic, right? you get new customers, the list grows, or you recover some dormant prospects, then the list shrink. So you can play with that, and it's very powerful. And finally, one that I like a lot for those of you working, on B2B on ABM strategies. If you are not thinking on spending, big bucks on a dedicated tool that does ABM, where you have these companies and all that, you can have a version of that. If you have a well-nurtured list of companies already on HubSpot using company list. So it only works for LinkedIn, but it will match the people that you layer on top of your company list, and that will allow you to target people, in this case, for example, again, as I was explaining, for an ABM effort. And so that's also something very powerful that you can test. Just to end, because we only have 2 minutes here, on the measuring and improving, trying to drill down on the abilities that you have here. Again, first thing that you can do, and I don't like when people get super obsessed with attribution, because it doesn't tell the truth all the time. Those of you that have been doing advertising know that a contact be attributed to Facebook and Google and LinkedIn at the same time, and it can be true, right? It can be that someone click an ad on Google and also on Facebook, and both tools will attribute themselves to that. So you can use HubSpot as a source of truth to some sense, and if not to attribute 100% a contact, at least to attribute influence on deals, especially where it will be very hard to say that a deal came only someone clicking out. But at the end of the day, you want to get some signals from your efforts, so you can do contact attribution. One step ahead of that, and I challenge you to do that, is that start using the HubSpot CRM and putting the revenue from your deals, and then you will be able to say, out of the $5,000 or $10,000 that I have spent on multiple efforts, I have got this many dollars of revenue. And while I will not be able maybe to attribute 100% to them, at least I can say I influenced that effort. So that will be something that you can explore. And last thought here, and something that I'm very excited on the future for this integration, is that so far we have been saying that we take information that the ad platform already have and bring it to HubSpot, right? Like conversions that I have, and I optimize based on the conversions that I have defined on the platform. But until very recently, it wasn't able to do the same thing reverse. I mean, what if I tell the ad platform what's a conversion or a good action for me? So take a look at events where you can define, for example, when someone becomes an MQL, maybe that's the action that you want to try to optimize, or when someone becomes an opportunity and there's a value associated to that because you create a deal. And so you can input that very similar to what you can do in e-commerce. And it will take some time, but over time, the platform will start optimizing for the events that you have defined as valuable within your own system, instead of trying to do it from the app platform itself. So those are all the topics. I know we are very short on time, but I don't know, Nelly, if someone else have any questions.
Eric had one question. So all of those features are on HubSpot or on Boundify? Yeah,
on HubSpot. The way I don't intend to share here. In the marketing portion of the hub, there is a section called Ads, and if you click on that section, then you will be able to connect 3 ad platforms. You can connect Google Ads, Facebook Ads, and LinkedIn Ads, depending on where is your audience.
Awesome, Emilio. Where can people learn more about you and connect with you and Boundify?
Yes, of course. Let me put that at the beginning again here. So this is me, right? I'm mostly active on LinkedIn. That's where I spend most of the time. If you connect there and reach out, I will surely answer. And in the website in Boundify, we have a series of live events similar to what we're doing right now, where I discuss a topic every 2 other weeks. And so it will be fantastic if you can join there.
Awesome. And I did drop a link to your live as well. So go ahead and check it out. Emilio, thank you so much. It was fun connecting with you, and everyone, look forward to seeing you in the next session. We only have a couple of sessions left. So I'll see you there.
All righty. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.